What's going on, team? So, I fitted some coilovers and some sweet Enki big end barrels on the MX5. Coilovers are dead easy to fit on an MX5. It takes about 2 hours. Don't need any specialist tools or anything like that. You might need a grinder. I'll come to that in a minute. Now, I've obviously already fitted these coilovers on my MX5, but what I'm going to do is, because I'm feeling generous, take them off, put it back on again, just so you can see how easy it is. If you haven't done it before, it's worth doing. It improves the handling no end on MX5s. So let's get into it. I've fitted these HSD Dualtech coilovers. Believe it or not, they're actually second hand. They're in really good condition. I got them from Jack at South Coast Roadsters. He's a top bloke. If you ever need anything second hand for MX5s, I'd certainly recommend speaking to him. So here we are, looking at the rear strut. Pretty easy to undo this one. Just got the one bolt here, which is a 17mm, and it makes it dead easy to get out if you undo this top one as well, which is a 14mm. So we're gonna do them now. Now, this is the problem you encounter with the rear suspension, where you might need a grinder. The other side was okay, but this side, it's because they've got a captive nut on the inside of the suspension arm that goes on the other side of this bolt. So if you just keep turning this bolt and wonder why it keeps turning, but it won't come undone, it's because the captive nut, which is stuck to the inside of the suspension arm, has broken loose. Now, you will not undo this bolt once it's broken loose unless you cut out the inside on the bottom of the suspension arm. I'm going to show you what I mean now. So you can see what I've done here is had to use the angle grinder to make a small cut on the bottom of the wishbone. That allows you then to get the spanner up inside onto the captive nut, which will just keep spinning because normally it's held in place against the wishbone, against the inside there. So once you've made this small cut, then you'll be able to get a spanner on it, which means you can then get that bolt out. It's a right pain in the arse, but unfortunately it happens on some of the MX5 sometimes. It's the only time that you'll need anything other than a socket kit to change the suspension. It's probably worth mentioning that that nut on the bottom is square shaped, the captive nut, so you'll need a open-ended spanner rather than a ring spanner, because a ring spanner won't work, unfortunately. You'll need this open-ended part to get it to work, and then it'll come right off. There we go. So once that nut is undone on the bottom, bit of a pain, you can just wiggle this bolt out, and then you can see the suspension drops right down. That'll be plenty enough, even with the standard old suspension in, to get the shock out. So the only thing left to do here, two 14mm bolts, one at the front here and one around the back. You can just about see one of them. You probably need a somewhat long 14mm so you can get down over the stud, but once you're on it, it's pretty easy to undo. One. That's both of the top bolts out, so now the shock's loose and it's dropped down. There we go. The top bolt's undone. Push the suspension down. Oh, lift that up. And it'll come right out. Simple as that. No special tools needed, no spring compressors, anything like that. Yeah, we needed the grinder, but you know, sometimes you get lucky with those, sometimes you don't on those bottom captive nuts. But other than that, 4 bolts done. On the fronts here, we're going to do something called the long bolt method, where we take out the long bolt at the top of the suspension arm and then the little bolt at the bottom. So this one down here holding the coilover on, and then this long one here, and just slide that forwards, and then the whole front to the top suspension arm should come out, which gives plenty of clearance to get the coilover out. So 17mm on the bottom. That loosens the suspension on the front there. You no need to undo the drop links at all. This one's a bit of a beast, 21mm. That big long bolt goes all the way through to the back there and all the way through to the front there. Once that's done, you should just be able to slide that forwards, and then that one should just fairly easily pull through. Long old bolt. You don't want to get that washer stuck on your crusty chassis rails like mine. And then she's out. And there we go. Up under the bonnet again here. These 2 bolts, 14s again. And then the suspension will be loose. One. 2. Then, with a bit of luck, bit of fiddling, out she comes. You might find it easier to undo the other side at the same time. At the moment, of course, the drop links are still connected, so you've got the anti-roll bar working together at the moment across the 2. So undo the other side and it should come out a little bit easier, but you certainly can get the standard suspension out without using any kind of spring compressors or anything like that. Simple. So there we go, team. Dead easy job, as you've seen. Few bolts, new coilovers on. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.